I've called this private book Memoirs because it is what I remember of my life. I've not kept diaries or done any research to check my memories, which may be inaccurate. It is not a book to be read solidly from the beginning until you get stuck, but it is for skipping and browsing. It is frankly anecdotal. It is primarily intended for my family and descendants. I think you are too busy making your own life to be interested in ancestors until you are about 50, and then it may be too late to question your grandparents. I retired in 1984, so yes, it was something to do on the computer when I got it. Maybe I didn't think of no. I was too busy the first 2 or 3 years trying to be important locally and be on committees and clerk to the governors of St Martin's School and so on. And then Hazel suggested a second retirement. She said, "Are you happy in all these things you're doing?" And I said, "No, not really." And she said, "Well, why do them then?" I thought, "Gosh, what a thought!" And so I gave them up, and then I bought the Amstrad.
I think we've got a shared best quality, which there's not an awful lot we do share, funnily enough, apart from 5 children, 17 grandchildren. But I think the best quality we have is our ability to laugh, our sense of humour. And I must say that over particularly the last 10 years, I plagued Denis terribly because I had a younger brother that I plagued. So I actually am very skilled at plaguing Denis. I don't say I make his life hell. I do think that we do share a sense of humour, and I think that's been a big thing between us. It's saved us from a lot of anguish, I think. Right, this is the painting that Paul did for us one day, and it was just before Denis was 70. And the light wasn't particularly good that day, but it was a lovely day in sort of feeling, and he got on with it very fast, and he knew exactly how he was going to do it. It just amazed me that he knew exactly how he was going to structure it. And I think that's what I love about Paul's painting, is that he knows how to structure a painting, doesn't he?
Yep.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah,
so now you want me to put this jersey on? What's this?
No, I think the red will do. The red will do.
The red will do, do you?
Well, let's have a look. Well, what?
I can do the other one if you want me to.
What, the green
I can
one?
take this
Yes,
off
it's
and I
more
can
sloppy.
have a red to go with it.
Oh,
No,
I'll do this
if you
for.
want the rotting bit, you want to have it.
No, I don't really want the rosy bit. They just are.
Okay. Oh,
They
that's
just
better.
read. You don't wear glasses anymore.
Yes, he does.
Well, I
actually.
do sometimes.
Where's your glasses then?
Well, make the
Put them
glasses
on.
on.
I want to make. I don't want to
To make
flatter you.
yourself as
I want to make you look as old as possible. Go on. Lean forward a little bit. Look a bit there more.
We're interested. What
No,
is
not.
it?
No, don't be. No, you're not meant to be interested in each other at all.
Oh, absolutely
Indifferent.
Okay.
Completely
That's
indifferent.
not difficult.
Marriage, long-term marriage.
Oh, yeah,
Come
we know
on,
about that.
indifference.
Indifference, right, okay, fine, fine.
Yeah, down a bit more. That's it. Somewhere. Yeah, that's good. painting stuff from my childhood. So this is really, it's not so much a painting of my parents now, it's a painting of old people.
You know, this thing about painting old people is important because it's the passing of time, isn't it? And death, really, that's what it's about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the succinct point about it, is death. I think to a large extent, if I'm looking at old people, I mean, taking a Rembrandt of an old woman, I think you do identify that with when you're old. And I'm not sure when you're young, the beauty, I mean, certainly you don't identify with the beauty. You may admire it greatly, but you can't identify with it. But the old face and the wornness and the experience and the, you know, I mean, that's where I've come to terms with my lines on my face, is that, you know, I rather dreaded them. But now I think, no, I've earned those lines. They're me, you know, that's part of my journey through life, you know.
But how do you feel about coming up for 80, Denis?
Bit depressed. Can't deny it. No, 77 hit me. I thought, God, only 3 years to 80. And, so at the time, I can't go on masquerading as middle-aged any longer.
So, you're not as young as you feel then, eh?
I never have felt.
You never felt young. You've never been young, Denis, have you?
Well, that's what you say anyway, so I accepted it.
Well, you've never exactly been flirty young and silly young and silly possibly, but not.
You were the one who had silly moods when you were courting.
She was what?
She had silly moods.
Tell me about her silly moods.
Oh, no, Dave!
You find substitutes. I mean, Hazel had to share a room with her young brother, and they had an apple to go to bed with, and she hid her second half apple, and then when he finished his, she brought out the other half of hers, just to spite him. And so, when she had to leave her brother and found me, she had carried on the same way. And my mother died when I was 19, and then I found Hazel, and I slotted her into the shop and said, "Mummy, can I defy you somehow?"
Oh, yeah. Do you think you've got over that now?
Not quite.
No. Well, tell me when you've recovered.
And she put on her this lipstick.
Oh yes, you didn't like
And
that.
I told
did you?
my mother I didn't like it, and so Auntie Lou told Lily, and Lily told...
That's the only thing you didn't like, was my lipstick.
Yes,
What colour was your lipstick?
too scarlet, I don't know.
Too scarlet.
Scarlet woman.
Look, I was no expert in lipstick, but
your mother
little
never
girls
wore
weren't
lipstick.
supposed to have makeup as far as I was
Well,
concerned.
we all had makeup in those days, Dennis. I mean, there was a lot of
Not when you were as young as you were. Which was
But hang on, what age are we
That's not
talking
true.
about?
We're talking about
18.
17, 18.
17, 18.
Oh, of course, there was loads of makeup going on, Dennis. It was, you know.
yes, well, I think I was old-fashioned. I disapproved on
Of course you were.
principle.
Yeah. That's all right, as long as I don't turn the
I
light
still think
on.
I look better than Hazel does.
Oh, well, there you are. There you go. Better looking
There you
chap.
are.
Yes, there you are.
Sometimes it works out for you, yeah.
Yeah,
It'll
that's
either
great.
or
That's
I'll
worked.
filter out.
That's worked very well.
Looks all right.
Definitely.
Thank you, Don. Thank
All
you
right,
for
that's
that.
a pleasure.
If I'm at a party, I don't know how to begin. You know, do you come here often or whatever it is? And superficial conversations, I can't get started. But of course, once there's a good argument going, I won't let anybody else get a word in edgeways.
Hi, Hazel. You all right?
Hazel's real facility is getting on with people. She stands in a queue at Sainsbury's or what it is, and she's heard half the life history of the next person in the queue in the 2 minutes where we're waiting there. The people just pour out. Whereas I can never think of anything to say, and I just look glum, and nobody talks to me, and I don't want to talk to anybody else, and I hope they don't. So that whereas Hazel's extremely good at personal relations, I'm absolutely hopeless. I'm willing to drink it as well.
Squeeze any more in. But how's that going to happen? I mean, as long as you've got a government in power that...
Who's driving home?
This is you.
Do you want bread?
Or you just help yourself. Yeah.
It was early in July, and it was a nice warm day. I think it was overcast actually, but it was a lovely warm day. And I think there were about, how many people?
60.
About 60 people, all our children, grandchildren. And it was the first time that I brought together family and friends, which actually seemed quite a risk to take. I don't know why, but I've always kept my friends rather separate from my family. That was one bit, and this was another bit. So I had them together, and that was interesting. And it was a lovely day. It was a day that I enjoyed immensely.